Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Let me introduce myself. My name is Riza Khofifah. I'm a student from Department of English Education at Panca Sakti, University Bekasi. Today, I'm going to explain about testing, assessing, and teaching. This is one of the material from language testing subject. So without further ado, let's get to the material. What is a test? A test is a method of measuring a person's ability, knowledge, or performance in a given domain. A method is an instrument, a set of techniques, procedure, or items that require the performance on the test taker. The method must be explicit and structured. A test must measure a general ability and specific ability. The way the result or measurement are communicated may vary. For example, a letter grade, a total numerical scores, a percentile rank, and subscore. If an instructional does not specify a form of reporting measurement, that technique cannot appropriately be defined as a test. A test measures an individual ability, knowledge, or performance. So the tester needs to understand who the test taker are, what is the previous experience and background, is the test appropriately matched to their abilities, and how should test taker interpret the score. A test measures a given domain. For example, a proficiency test, general competence in all skills of language. More specific criteria, for example, a test of pronunciation might well be a test only a limited set of phonemic minimal pairs. A vocabulary test may focus on only the set of words covered in a particular lesson. A well-constructed test is an instrument that provides an accurate measure of the test taker's ability within a particular domain. The next is assessment and teaching. People might be tempted to think of testing and assessing as synonymous terms, but they are not. Tests are prepared administrative procedures that occur at identifiable times in the curriculum when learners master all their faculties to offer peak performance, knowing that their responses are being measured and evaluated. While assessment is an ongoing process that encompasses a much wider domain. Example, students respond a question, offers a comment, or tries out a new word or structure. The teacher subconsciously makes an assessment of the student's performance. Tests are subtests of assessment. They are certainly not the only form of assessment that teacher can make. These can be usable devices, but are only one among many procedures and tasks that teacher can ultimately use to assess students. Assessment type. There are 6 types of assessment that I'm going to explain. The first is informal assessment. Informal assessment is embedded in classroom tasks designed to elicit performance without recording results and making fixed judgment about students' performance. For example, responding to a draft of an essay, advise how better pronounce a word, and showing how to modify students' note-taking to better remember the content of lecture. Informal assessments involve systematically observing and monitoring students during the class, interacting with students to gain deeper knowledge of what they know, they understand, and what they can do, circulating the classroom and posing questions, guiding investigation, motivating and quizzing students. providing opportunities for students to present or report upon their learning and teaching experience. Second, formal assessment. Formal assessments are exercises or procedures specifically designed to tap into a storehouse of skills and knowledge. They are systematic, planned sampling technique constructed to give teachers and students an appraisal of student achievement. Formal assessment involves the use of specific assessment strategies to determine the degree to which students have achieved the learning outcomes. Individual and or collaborative tasks that usually attract a mark. Third, formative assessment. Formative assessment evaluating students in the process of forming their competencies and skills with the goal of helping them to continue that growth. The key factors to such formation are the delivery, internalization of appropriate feedback on performance, and it toward the future continuation of learning. Formative assessment is the practice of building a cumulative record of students' achievement. Usually takes place during day-to-day learning experiences and involves ongoing informal observation throughout the term, course, semester, or unit of study. Formative assessment is used to monitor students' ongoing progress and to provide immediate and meaningful feedback. Formative assessment assists teachers in modifying or extending their programs or adapting their learning and teaching method, and is very applicable and helpful during early group work process. Fourth, summative assessment. Summative assessment aims to measure or summarize what a student has grasped and typically occur at the end of the course or unit of instruction. For example, final exam in a course or general proficiency exam. Summative assessment assists you to make judgments about students' achievement at certain relevant points in the learning process or unit of study. It can be used formally to measure the level of achievement of learning outcomes, and can also be used to judge a program, teaching, and or unit of study effectiveness. Fifth, norm reference test. The purpose is such test to place the test takers along a mathematical continuum rank in order. Example is Scholastic Aptitude Test or SAT and TOEFL test. Such tests must have fixed, predetermined response in a format that can be scored quickly at minimum expense. Money and efficiency are primary concern in this test. 6. Criteria reference test. Criteria reference tests are designed to give test taker feedback, usually in the form of grades, on specific course or lesson objective. Example, classroom tests involving students in one class only and connected to a curriculum. In this test, much time and effort are required from the teacher in order to deliver useful and appropriate feedback. The brief comparison in informal is active questioning during and the end of the class. And for formal is such a quiz, test, easy lab, report. Formative takes place during day-to-day learning experience, while summative is take place all the end of the class. Norm reference tests include rank order, money, effort, general skill, while criterion reference is grade, feedback, content, and specific skill. That's all my presentation about testing, assessing, and teaching. I wish that everyone can grasp all the material that I have been explained, and this presentation will give it a benefit to all of us. That's all from me. Have a great day. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.